Hello, my name is Glenn Dyer, and you are watching a Dyer-Situation. Today I'm seeing Rings, the controversial sequel. Well, it's not that controversial. The greedy, we want money sequel to The Ring. There have been other sequels, of course. And I have to admit, I've kind of failed you here in this one. This is definitely a movie where I should have watched the originals. Like, I should have, put time into watching, at least the first movie. And I am sorry that I haven't done that. I've been watching a ton of Oscar-related movies. I saw 3 of them yesterday. I've got, oh god, how many have I got left? I got 10 features left. So, yeah, I'm just trying to get them all done by next week, and yeah, so sorry about that. So anyway, this movie's probably going to be terrible. I do know the premise of the original film, mostly from parodies, but still. Essentially, it's about, this is just cultural osmosis and stuff, it's about this videotape, right? Like a VHS tape, because that's when the movie was released. And it just shows a bunch of weird images. And if you watch it, you get a call on the phone, and some creepy voice tells you you're gonna die in 7 days. And then, on the 7-day mark, this lady walks out of the TV and fucking murders your ass. So, interesting, creative, yeah. And apparently it's of the vengeful spirit of some girl that drowned in a well, or something like that. You know, it's really sad that I honestly got most of this from Scary Movie 3, when I should have gotten it from The Ring. Once again, I'm really sorry. So I guess I'm just gonna have to go into this as someone who just has cultural osmosis of it. I guess I'm gonna have to hope it's a soft reboot then. Which it sounds like it. Rings? I don't know. It doesn't sound like a sequel, unless they're going with, like, the Aliens thing. But wait, if they are, what does that mean? Because The Ring is a horror film, so if they're going for the Aliens, guideline there, then shouldn't that mean that that Rings is an action film starring some of the characters from The Ring? I don't know, that sounds awesome. Honestly. And it is setting up, supposedly, for a movie that's like, The Ring versus The Grudge. So, oh my god, maybe it is aliens. They're gonna be like Space Marines fighting an evil TV? Like, what? What is it? I don't know, I'm slightly excited. It's probably not gonna be anything like that, but still. But yeah, I just think considering the circumstances of this movie, that apparently nobody gives a shit about it, like the people who made it don't give a shit about it, I'm going to assume that this is going to be pretty stupid, probably really boring, and I'm not going to like it. So let's see it. Okay. I didn't expect it to be that bad. You know, I honestly assumed there were more movies. I just looked up the, how many movies there are. Discounting the original, I think it's a Japanese version, discounting that, like, from the American line, thought that there were more than just 2 others. This is apparently Xander Cage, because, in fact, it's literally Xander Cage. The original Triple X came out in 2002, the sequel came out in 2005, and then new movie came out in 2017. The Ring, came out in 2002, The Ring 2 came out in 2005, and now Rings has come out in 2017. Is this some sort of anomaly? What's going on? Is this everyone's being lazy at the exact same time? So, let me give you an idea of what it's like watching this movie. The movie opens up, right? It's on an airplane that looks nothing like an airplane. It looks like a lounge, but they have the sound effects to make you think it's an airplane. And so they're sitting back on these chairs that are very clearly not airline chairs. I guess they couldn't afford real ones. And, like, there's a guy sitting there, and there's this lady across the aisle. And she knows that he's kind of nervous, so she's like, well, it's really hard when you can't sleep and it's night, right? And, you know, it's a strange line, but Lenny's like, have you ever heard of this video that kills you in 7 days? What? And then he says, well, there's this video that I watched, and it had strange images, and then immediately after I watched the video, I got a phone call, and the phone call said, what the fuck? Like, literally, he just goes over the whole premise with very little reason, like, very little incentive to do so. He just goes over the whole thing. And and that's how we start our movie. That's how the dialogue in this movie is. Just the dialogue in this movie is so bad, it is legendary. Like, nobody has any kind of subtlety, nobody has any kind of concept of what on the nose means, or anything like that. They just say exactly what they need to say in order to move the plot along, and it even if it makes no sense. But anyway, the opening scene has very little to do with anything. It's just establishing what the Ring video can do. They establish that multiple times in the movie, though. But, like, that's what the opening scene is. And it's ridiculous and really stupid. But, anyway, the real plot is that this professor, this biology professor, he's at a flea market or something, and he's just like, he finds a VHS tape. He's like, wow, VHS! Like, he's amazed to find a VCR somewhere. Like, it's... like, he's just like, wow, that's really cool. And somebody's like, that's just outdated technology. And he says, I like to think vintage. This is a part of history. And already, just from like a video person standpoint, I know this guy has to be a complete moron, because VHS was one of the worst formats ever. It was one of the worst tape players ever. Like, if you compare its specs to Betamax, it was pretty horrible. He said it was revolutionary at the time, which it wasn't. It was just more popular. And already, you know, the only reason that there's a VHS in this movie is because there was a VHS in the original movie. The original movie, I don't know about the Asian one, but like the original American version of that movie had a VHS tape, because I was at the tail end of VHS's lifespan, right? Kids today don't know what that is. Kids today wouldn't be interested in it. Kids today shouldn't be interested in it because it's kind of shitty. I'm interested in it, but only because of its novelty and its just how poorly it functions. I'm interested in it for those reasons. So it's baffling that a professor would have this lab and he'd be desperately trying to resuscitate this old VCR. He's like, come on, baby, I know you got more life left in you. Like, he buys the VCR and he brings it back home and he's trying to fix it. It's like, do you really need to go through that much trouble? There are tons of VCRs out there that still work fine. that people are willing to sell. You don't need to buy broken ones yet. It's ridiculous. It's silly. But, of course, it's to make him watch the tape. Yeah. I'm going too deep into the plot. Generally speaking, the guy who buys a tape, he watches it, and then he gets the brilliant idea that this is somehow, we're not explained how he plans to do this, a way for him to investigate the idea of there being a soul. This doesn't have much to do with the movie, that's just the reason he shows it to other people like a jackass. And then, God, describing this movie, it's honestly... So anyway, he's not the main character. Our main character is this lady whose boyfriend has gone off to college, and of course he's studying with the biology professor. And one day she finds that her boyfriend's not calling her back, and then this lady calls her on Skype, or the Skype thing, using his Skype name, and she's like, "Where is he?" Like this lady she doesn't know, like, I think his name's like Hugh or something. He's like, "Where is Hugh?" She's like, "I don't know. Who the hell are you? What the hell's going on?" And she says, "Well, I don't blah," and then shuts off. Don't know why she did that, by the way. Never explained why that lady did that. So, of course, our main character, she goes over and she's like, she goes over to college, she's like, "What's going on at the college here?" And nobody gives her any answer. She finds the friends of her boyfriend, and they're like, "What are you doing here?" And then they just leave. Like, they have a vested interest in not letting her figure things out, by the way. They just let her alone. And you know what? I don't really want to keep on explaining it like that. I will be here for hours if I keep on trying to explain the plot, but what I have just delivered to you, that is a bare taste of the baffling, incoherent things that happen in this movie. In fact, one of the biggest ones that stood out to me, aside from one that is slightly spoilery, so I'll get to it at the end, is she's trying, I told you she'd want to go off to the college, right? And in the very next scene, after she decides to go over to the college, she wakes up in a bed to an alarm clock. I think that's what happened, unless I'm remembering this wrong, because it makes absolutely no sense if I'm remembering it right. But I remember immediately after it happened, like, did that seriously happen? She wakes up in a bed, and she's at the college dorm, and she gets a call, right? And she's like, "You're late for the exam," or something like that. I'm like, wait, what? What? I was confused. I didn't even understand if this was the same person for a little bit, because that made no sense at all. And then she goes over to the wall where the schedule is clearly posted and stuff. So I'm like, so is this a person suffering from amnesia or something? What's happening? But no, it turns out, I guess Samados teleported her over there because of destiny, and then, but she doesn't question this. I have to be remembering this wrong. This makes literally no sense, the way I'm describing it, but that's honestly how I remember it happening. And I truly don't understand. I truly don't. What was going on? What was that? What... Is that just meant to be the surreal part of this movie? Like, I don't get it. Somebody help me. So, honestly, in a way, I kind of recommend this movie. Do not watch it in theaters. Do not watch it in theaters, I beg of you. But if you have like $2 to spare and it happens to be on like Amazon Prime or something, and like for an absurdly cheap price, and you want something that is so incompetent, so off the wall, so bizarre, so horribly written that you just can't help but laugh at it, laugh really, really hard. Like, if I was by myself and I was still stifling giggles and stuff. If I were with friends, I would have been laughing my ass off during this movie. It is if it's not so bad it's good, then it certainly walks the line of it, because, damn, everything in this is wrong. Ugh. Everything. It's honestly baffling that it exists. It really is. That's the only way to describe it. Baffling. So, yeah, that's my recommendation. So here's the kind of the spoilery part. At one point, and this is just the showcase of just how absurd the movie can be with how bad its writing is, like, to the point of lunacy. She has to fight this blind man, right? She's fighting a blind dude, and the blind guy's coming after her, and he's evil, right? And so she has to try and hide from him. So in order to improve her chances of hiding from the blind man, she turns off the lights. I'm not even joking. In order to hide from a blind guy, she turns off the lights so it would be dark and he can't see her. Oh, wait a second. That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Why did she do that? Oh my god. How did somebody write that down? How did somebody write that in a script? How did that script go through many revisions like scripts normally do? How did the director read over that? How did several other people read over that? How did they get to filming that scene, filming it, editing it, re-editing it, without a single person pointing out, why did she turn off the lights? He's blind! How does that happen? That is so... Oh my god, I can't help but laugh. It's just... What the fuck? Oh my god. And the ending of that is just... The ending... How this movie ends, how that blind guy is dealt with is so stupid it has to be seen to be believed. So I won't spoil that for you, but... Dear God, just that one moment alone, I can't stop laughing at it. It's like... Who was dumb enough to write that? Oh my god. Yeah, definitely. Don't watch it in theaters, but find some way to watch it with some friends, like, to just... Yeah, it has to be seen to be believed. It has to be. And that's really all there is to this. Ironically, even though it's not a comedy, far funnier than Xander Cage. So, take that for what you will. I just can't believe it. I really cannot believe it. It is... Yeah. This needs to be studied. This needs like a class on it, like Rings 101 at a college course. It needs... like students trying to diagnose what the fuck is this movie. Anyway, I'm rambling. You know what I think. Until next time, I'm Glenn Dyer, and you've been watching a Dyer-Situation.